Hooked on the Palm Beaches is brought to you by Discover the Palm Beaches and Palm Beach County, the best way to experience Florida. On this episode of Hooked on the Palm Beaches, we're going to meet an amazing cast of female anglers. We're actually going to meet somebody who's been teaching women how to fish for decades, right here in the beautiful Palm Beaches. Let's go fishing. There he comes up. Woo, look at that.
There we go. Bring them in.
Pretty fish.
Yeah. We got a big one, boys. Got him on.
I don't think it gets any better than this.
So keep your eye out for that. That's the explosive bite we're looking for.
I just cannot believe how many fish there are out there.
He is lively and fired up. Oh, there's the big one right there.
This is why you come here. This is why we do what we do.
This fish is on fire. Look at him just coming at us. Tuna coming in, baby.
Off of Palm Beach, bro. This is the kind of Jurassic Park stuff that lives out here. What a stunning fish. We're going to try and get it back in the water safely here.
Oh, big one.
Woo! We did it, Bubba.
It blows me away the fishing opportunities that we have in and around Palm Beach County.
Some of the best game fishing that you can have in the entire world.
Surf fishing is a great way to test your angling skills without ever having to get on a boat. With 47 miles of pristine beaches, there are incredible fishing opportunities up and down the coast. There's nothing quite like surf fishing. The thrill of the chase, the sound of the waves, and the tranquility of the beach. It's just you, your gear, and the fish. Fishing from the beach provides a special angling experience, targeting pompano, bluefish, whiting, Spanish mackerel, and other interesting species. Surf fishing in the Palm Beaches is a great way to test your angling skills without getting on the boat. With 47 miles of pristine beaches, there are fantastic fishing opportunities right up and down the coast. We caught up with Palm Beaches fishing guide Alison Statner to learn more about this amazing fishery. So Alison, tell me about the different times of the year and what you can expect to catch, let's say, this time in the fall versus winter versus summer.
Sure thing. So we have a migration of our shoreline fish, just like our offshore fish, and they go to the Carolinas, up north, Florida, when the water temperature is hot in the summer. And now that our water temps start to drop, all our fish are coming back. So we have the mullet run, and then behind that, we have a lot of Spanish mackerel and bluefish, like other bycatch, and we get short pompano. Then we'll get, our bigger run of fish come through here, a lot of pompano, a lot of Spanish mackerel. The great thing is we pretty much fish for them all winter. So a lot of times now we'll get small juvenile fish on their way down, and then we get our larger sized fish, but fewer quantity in April and May.
Why do you target this area in particular? Tell me a little bit about the topography. What makes for good surf fishing?
So what's great about Florida in general is that we have surf fishing on our whole coast, and it's a very fun sport to drive around and try different beaches. It's very accessible. You can surf fish like this, where you bring the sand spikes and the bait rods, but it's also very enjoyable, and a lot of people like to just take a backpack, fanny pack, and walk the beach in the morning, with a spinning rod. It's a great way to enjoy the sport.
To get started, you'll need a surf fishing rod and reel combo, which is longer and more robust than regular freshwater gear. A heavy-duty 9 to 12 foot rod with a spinning reel is a good choice to start off with. Live baits such as shrimp, sand fleas, and baitfish work well in the surf. Artificial lures like spoons, jigs, and plugs can also be very effective. Fishing on the beach and enjoying the beautiful Palm Beaches is a perfect way of spending time outside. Give surf fishing a try. It's sure to make memories that will last a lifetime. Hooked on the Palm Beaches is brought to you by Discover the Palm Beaches and Palm Beach County, the best way to experience Florida, and by Pelagic High Performance Offshore Gear. Surf fishing is a great year-round pastime in the Palm Beaches, but the prime seasons are generally during the fall and spring when many fish species migrate along the coast. You can catch a wide variety of fish in the surf, including snook, tarpon, pompano, whiting, flounder, and more. So the mullet run is one of the spectacles of nature that you can witness as a visitor to the Palm Beaches. Tell me a little bit about this mullet run and what makes it so special.
It is very cool. Fishing or just heading down to the beach, it is something really not to be missed. Every fall, usually about this time in September, we see the first bits of mullet. Same thing, they're on a migration. It gets too hot here in the summer, so they start to come back down. But you will just see for miles and miles very dark schools of the baits. They're moving through on the facade of the wave, and behind them is all the predators that like to eat them. So we're talking about big jack crevalles, we're talking about lots of rolling tarpon right at sunrise, snook, black tip sharks. But it's just so extraordinary. It's like the predators are lit up on their feeding frenzy kind of thing. And so you just got bait and fish jumping out of the water, jumping in the sky everywhere.
And what makes it so special about the mullet run here is the clarity of the water. So, you know, looking at that from the air, for example, is just crazy because you're just seeing this white water explode everywhere and these bait fish running for their lives. It's pretty cool, isn't it?
It's very, very cool.
Alison holds classes for ladies, fishing camps for kids, and organizes other events as well. She has completed an FWC fishing course in junior fishing education and has been fishing the beach for over 35 years. So you've been fishing since childhood. I guess you had a mentor in your life. Tell me about the mentorship program that you're doing here, trying to get more women anglers into the sport.
So I was fortunate to have a lot of mentors. I fished with my dad and a lot of other guys on the pier that took me under their wing when I was young. It's not as much as me trying to get women and kids fishing. The need is there. I get requests all the time. I get requests a lot for boat maneuvering. So there's just a lot more women that want to be on the water and they want to be independent. And so we work different programs around whatever those goals are. So we do family offshore trips on the head boat, and the party boats are great. That's really how I started. And then I just had more and more ladies reach out to me. So we tend to do 1 or 2 classes, either at somebody's house or White's Tackle was generous enough to let us use their space. And so the ladies get sort of a background information. And then the beach is a great platform for everybody to learn how to tie knots or put bait on or take fish off. And then we graduate to ladies that would like to have offshore skills from there. Then we start doing more party boat trips, or we do open boat trips, so they can start using live bait and gaff and then fillet. So it's really something that I just tailor to whatever the groups are. There we go!
Look at that, little Jack Crevalle. Yes. Very cool. It's important to pay attention to the tides. Fish tend to be more active during incoming and outgoing tides. Some species like snook are known to feed heavily during the outgoing tide. Always be aware of your surroundings and the conditions in the surf. Rip currents can be strong, so always check the weather and tide forecasts before heading out.
So when you surf, how do you find the best spot to swim and paddle out before you turn into the lineup?
Well, I normally just look for an outflowing channel of water that's easier to paddle. So
okay.
You know how it comes in, you get a rip coming back out, just paddle into that rip
100%.
that's going back out there.
So that same thing is what we look for when we're surf fishing. So that rip is what I call the bait highway.
Right.
So if you have a trough, sandbar trough, which is a normal scenario, that rip is how the bait fish go from the outside across the sandbar. They get pushed in with that current and then they're in the trough.
Right.
And the predator fish follow them on the same way. So a lot of times when you do get to a spot and you think, well, now where I'm at the beach, but where do I set up?
Right.
A lot of people are looking for that rip.
Right.
And then some people fish along that rip, Or just like you said, like the rip current chart, it makes 2 holes up here sometimes.
Right.
So that's like my number one thing I'm looking for is, do I see the backflow of water? And then maybe I'm fishing the rip, or maybe I'm fishing the 2 holes to the sides of it.
Got it, makes sense. This is like fishing real estate, right? Location, 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 that they say so often. I guess it applies to fishing too. Hooked on the Palm Beaches is brought to you by Discover the Palm Beaches and Palm Beach County, the best way to experience Florida, and by Pelagic High Performance Offshore Gear.
So we're lucky here in Jupiter and Juneau. We have a lot of shark's teeth. A lot of people come here to find shark's teeth in the wash. They can use some little scoopers, or you can use your sand flea rake. This one's the one you most commonly find. It's a bull shark. It's kind of just a plain triangle. I have found a great white. It's like a much larger triangle. And then this one is a tiger shark, I think. It's sort of shorter, and the tooth hooks to the side, and then it's got a lot of real sharp teeth on the side there.
Wow.
Limpet,
Very cool.
yeah, limpet, scallops, kitten paw, especially with the kids. I like to do a lot of the
shelling with them,
We do
yeah.
the shelling and the shell ID stuff too, yeah.
Very cool.
They love shark toothing.
Ever wonder why yellowtail or bluefin sashimi tastes so much better at a truly authentic sushi bar? Well, you've probably brought fish home from a trip and created your own sashimi platter, only to discover it didn't quite taste so good. The way a fish is handled once it comes aboard is what truly makes the difference in terms of taste and quality. Welcome to Ikejime.
So this is a great whiting that Emily just caught. If it's over 12 inches, which it is, then we normally keep it. It is an unregulated species, but that's my personal minimum. And so what we're gonna do here, instead of just putting him in the cooler, and essentially, you know, he will not have enough air.
Right.
He'll die of suffocation. Okay, instead I'm gonna use this brain spike, and the brain is located right behind and below the eyes. Okay? And so now you can tell when you hit it, because you'll get some eye movement or fin flares. Okay? But essentially now the fish is dispatched because he's not stressed out.
Gotcha.
When the fish is stressed out or flopping around in the cooler, basically he's secreting a lot of adrenaline and cortisol that we don't need in the meat. And so then the second step is just to bleed it out.
Right.
And you want to do that immediately because the heart is still beating.
Right.
So it helps to flush out the blood.
Blood.
And the point of flushing out the blood is to flush out the bacteria, because the blood carries the majority of the black bacteria. So it's step 1 is brain spike, and step 2 is bleed out.
Right.
And so then I'll just very quickly use the brain spike and put them in this bucket, and I'm right back to putting baits on and getting my rods back out. No one wants to stop, especially when the fish start biting.
Right.
So it's just a 2-second thing, and then
And that seems more humane than letting the thing just suffocate and
So
flap
both.
around. Right.
subjectively, it is a more ethical, quicker way to dispatch your fish. But I like to talk about it just from a point of view of the biology and the facts of it, is that you're creating a much higher quality of meat. So we spend all of this time, tackle, location, bait, getting down here. Now let's cross the finish line and have a conversation about what happens when we catch the fish to what happens when it gets to our cutting board. And that's called harvest protocol. And that's what everybody gets to learn here on the beach, because we're basically maximizing the quality and respect for every fish we catch.
Alison is a strong supporter of Ikejime and sustainable harvest protocol.
She's a rock star. Like, I would love to be just like her if I ever grow up.
Get hooked on the Palm Beaches!
Coming up next, join us for an epic day of fish tagging research with the West Palm Beach Fishing Club and the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission. Hooked on the Palm Beaches is brought to you by Discover the Palm Beaches and Palm Beach County, the best way to experience Florida, and by Pelagic High Performance Offshore Gear.
Well, today we're out here offshore Palm Beach Inlet aboard the Rio Captivating, and we're kind of bridging the gap between angling and marine science. Really, this is just a continuation of a collaboration between the West Palm Beach Fishing Club and our local marine laboratory that started well over 50 years ago, where we cooperatively try to tag marine game fish. It all started with sailfish back in the early 1960s, and over the years we have collaborated with the FWC's Fish and Wildlife Research Institute to tag other popular and important marine recreational fish like snook, swordfish, and now we're out here today trying to tag amberjack and grouper. And it's really just, again, trying to bridge the gap between angling and science. The researchers need help catching these fish. Marine research is expensive. The tags we put in these fish are electronic transmitter tags that cost between $300 and $500 a piece. And then we monitor these fish using underwater acoustic receivers. So between Palm Beach Inlet and out here to our deep Reef Dart site, we have about 8 underwater acoustic receivers that can detect all types of fish that have been tagged with these transmitters. And it's a real collaborative effort because a whole lot of other research groups utilize these tags as well. So there's a lot of data sharing that goes on. And we hope to learn more about the fish's behavior, maybe their growth patterns, migratory routes, and that'll help us manage these species of fish in a more sustainable way. So we're all about catching fish, but we want a healthy resource. And so today the West Palm Beach Fishing Club is helping forward that with our local marine laboratory.
So with the AJs, we try to work as fast as we can to get them in and out of the water as soon as we can. So we'll take a capture latitude, we'll take a time when the fish was hooked up, and then we'll also take a time when we bring it to the boat. We'll take a couple measurements, and then we will take a fin clip so that can give us genetic information. And then we'll do a quick surgery to implant a acoustic transmitter, and we'll suture that up real quick, make sure that they're doing okay, put some external dart tags in. So if you guys are out here fishing and you catch an AJ with one of these, you can just clip it off right here and call this number on it, and it's a $250 reward for each fish. We've worked real close with the West Palm Beach fishing community to get a decent acoustic array out here, and we've created this line that starts at about 30 foot of water and goes all the way out to about 500 foot of water. And we've seen everything from leatherback sea turtles to bluefin tuna to great white sharks to sawfish to all different types of groupers and snappers. So we're just getting an astounding amount of information. To be able to benefit from the knowledge of all these fishermen and use their vessels and use all of their things just to get fish on board and over as quickly as possible is absolutely amazing. It's super cool. It's something that I've always wanted to do. Ever since I was 5, I wanted to be a marine biologist, and to be out here working with the West Palm Beach Fishing Club and being on a boat like this in conditions like this, it's a dream come true. I love it.
This is the perfect size jack to tag. These are the ones we want because they're easier to get in the boat and they're going to be pretty long-lived. So if we can get a tag in this fish, get it released successfully, that tag may be pinging for another 5 years and give us back some great data on this type of fish. This is amberjack number 10 in the box, getting ready to tag it. This is the best amberjack tagging day that we've had with the Marine Laboratory here in West Palm Beach. So hats off to the crew of the Rio Captivating. These guys definitely know what they're doing. We've been blessed with a beautiful day. The collaboration between the Marine Laboratory and Tequesta and the West Palm Beach Fishing Club has never been better. So when you're fishing off the Palm Beaches, it's always a good thing when you got to get through the sailfish to catch an amberjack.
It's absolute chaos right now. I see a sailfish jumping, we're tagging a greater amberjack. It's crazy.
We set the record today. We ended up tagging 15 amberjacks. Best day ever, right, Dana?
Absolutely.
And we couldn't have done it without the crew of the Rio Captivating. Hats off to Captain Kip Edwards. We got Roy and Justin in the pit. Roy is a master on the deep drop rod, and he proved it today. Just a record-setting day for our collaboration with the FWC's Marine Research Lab in Tequesta and the West Palm Beach Fishing Club.